Hey everyone, my name is Sam.
And I'm Melissa.
And welcome back. We want to have some fun today and answer some of your questions about house rules and just some funny things.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of questions about, Sam had mentioned in a previous video that there were a lot of strict rules in the house. Obviously, there kind of had to be with that many children. And along with the rules always comes the fact that Sam was a little bit of a rebel and some fun stories. So we're going to do story time along with some of the rules.
Sounds great.
Take it away. What were some of the house rules?
So some of the house rules, obviously, I don't remember all of them, but there were a lot. But let's just start off with a few. One of the rules was there was no running allowed, period. If you're in the house, you walk. There was no running. And
sorry, that one alone, Sam is a huge runner, okay? He's a runner, he's run a marathon. And
I love to run.
Our daughter is just like
running.
him. Like when she was 2, we'd have to tell her to walk places because watching her try to walk instead of run places was comical. Like I have videos of her like struggling to walk because she just wanted to run everywhere. So she was just like him.
And that's how I was. I was always running. I was running all over the place. And one day I was running in the house. Surprise, surprise. And it was downstairs, and we have a long hallway. We had a long hallway in the house, in the basement. And so I was just running full speed down this long hallway. Turned a corner, and it was dark. No lights were on. I was being obedient and turning the lights off at least, right? But I turned a corner and just ran right into Father. Like, just almost knocked him over backwards. So anyways, that did not go well for me. He was so unhappy. But basically, my punishment for that was to sit in a corner of the house long enough to learn my lesson. And it was a long time. I don't remember exactly how long, but it was a long time.
So when the mothers, so Father, obviously you got punished, but when the mothers would catch you running in the house, what was your philosophy on that?
Well, my philosophy was outrun them. And if they never caught me, then that was that. But no, it was, for some reason, we didn't take what the mother said as serious as we did what Father said. So sometimes if a mother tried to put me in a corner, it wouldn't last very long. As soon as she walked around the other corner, I would be up and out of there. But for some reason, that's just the way it was. So that was one of the rules. Another rule was no loud laughter in the house, or actually that was a rule across the board. We weren't ever supposed to laugh loud. So if we were laughing, we were supposed to just, I guess, laugh quietly.
Just control it. We probably laughed too loud, like just in this video.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and I don't know if it was, well, I know that it says something about that in Scripture as well, but Father was a very strict follower of Scripture, and so that was, I believe, the main reason. But also, he just didn't like, loud anything in the house. If it was
That's a lot of people.
Laughing or yelling or whatever it was, just don't be loud was kind of the rule.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, no loud laughter was definitely one of them.
So did you guys have like secret giggle sessions or something? Like when you're out of the house and you're like, yes, we can finally laugh loudly.
It was a lot of wide open mouth, head back, just with no sound coming out. You know that laugh. That was a lot of what we did. So or knee slapping, something like that.
How'd you guys learn jokes? Like as a kid, like did you guys tell jokes? Did you know many jokes?
We did. I think that a lot of the jokes that we knew, we either made them up ourselves, so they were most likely not that great. But there were a lot of jokes floating around the community as well. So the jokes that we would hear typically came from, other families and just kind of spread throughout the community.
But they couldn't be that good if you weren't allowed to laugh loudly at them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, do you remember any of them? Give us an example of an FLDS joke that is not meant to make you laugh. Is that
loud laugh? I will have to think about that. I can't think of any right off the top of my head. But if I think of one, I'll be sure. Because
they weren't that memorable.
I'll be sure to share it if I think of one. Yeah. I doubt there were anything about multiple wives. Though I doubt there were that kind of joke. But I don't remember.
Okay, what were some other rules?
Other rules. Well, one of the other rules was no snacking. And what I mean by that is it wasn't against the rule to eat food throughout the day, but it was against the rules to just walk into the kitchen and open a cupboard and take some food and start eating, or in the refrigerator, whatever it was. We couldn't just help ourselves to the food.
And this is one of those traumatizing things as a child that now every single time he walks into the kitchen, every single time, he can't help it. He has to go to the cupboard and get a snack, or go to the fridge and grab a snack. He has to snack constantly, and I think it was all because of deprivation as a child. That is my theory.
I don't know for sure.
Snacker.
It is a good theory, but I don't know for sure if that is the exact reason. I don't know. I'm always hungry anyway. But you're right, though. I walk into even if I'm not hungry, the first thing I do is open the refrigerator.
Open the fridge.
Is that something everyone does, or is that just me?
Yeah, leave it in the comments. Let me know if other people's husbands, because when we first got married, like, I am not a big snacker, or I wasn't, and then, like, I was like, I'm making dinner. Why are you grabbing something out of the refrigerator? Like, what is going on? But he just can't help himself.
Yeah, I will find myself sometimes opening the refrigerator and just sitting there looking blankly into the refrigerator with no purpose. And sometimes I just close it and walk off.
It's the comfort of knowing that if he wanted something,
there's something
he could
there.
Get
Yeah.
it. I guess. I don't know what it is. But leave in the comments if other people do that as well and have...
But in the defense of my ginormous family, there was so many of us around there that if we all snacked freely, the food would just be gone.
That's true.
Always.
Yeah, there's no way you could do that with that many kids.
So even with big Costco trips, the food did not last that long. So anyway, that was the reason for the rule is food would just... And we got in trouble once. I remember sitting down and having to explain myself to Father on why I opened a cupboard and ate some food. So it was probably a lot of food, but anyway. So that was one of the rules. But and then just a couple of funny stories as well. This goes back to when we lived in the double wide trailer and all of that fun stuff growing up in a tight space. There were some fun moments, or I guess stories, where we would get in trouble for doing something. Speaking of breaking or bending the rules, we'd get in trouble for doing something, and we would just take off running, to get away from the mothers. And in our backyard, there were two sheds that were just, they were just like, I don't know how much, but maybe 8 inches apart, or maybe less. I don't remember, but there was just a very small gap between these two sheds. So as young kids, we would run. If we were in trouble, we would run and go between the sheds because we knew no adult could come. No adult could fit. No adult could fit between there. So we'd just sit there until the
adults went away,
until they calmed down or went away, and then we would sneak out. But anyway, so we always used the sheds as a way to hide. It was, I think back now, and it's just such a funny thing because the adult was maybe 5 feet away from us, right there at the edge of the shed, but they couldn't come any closer, and we were just like, sorry. Can't get me. Oh, man. But anyway.
When you guys would try to avoid like a spanking or something from the mothers, because the mothers would... Well, did they spank? It wasn't really spanking, right?
So when we were younger, we would get spanked for doing something we weren't supposed to do, but it was more of a just... They felt obligated to teach us a lesson. If I remember correctly, they were never that hard. Maybe some of my brothers and sisters remember it differently. Maybe they got some hard spankings, but
he was too fast for that.
Yeah, we would always. Yeah, but we would always attempt things. Like, for example, we thought we were pretty smart when we put a book in our britches, and tried to soften the blow. Other times we would wait for them to come down with a swing, and then we would just jump forward and see if we could make them slip and fall or something. But anyway, we were always trying to have fun with the spankings. But if I remember correctly, there weren't that. I only remember a couple of times when I was really little where it was one of those things where they felt like I needed to be taught a lesson. Which what do you do? So.
Yeah, and luckily, I mean, we know that abuse does happen out there and has happened out there for sure, but luckily Sam's family wasn't like that.
Yeah, and
He didn't experience that personally.
I
Again, there's so
personally-
many kids that it's hard to say what everybody's experience was like.
I personally did not experience any abuse, any physical abuse. So whether or not any of my brothers and sisters did, I couldn't say for 100%. I haven't heard of them or heard of anything, but that would be their story to tell if something had happened. So
Yeah, but anyway, there's a couple funny stories.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to end the video, but what was it like when you got caught with, okay, so for instance, again, he's a rebel, right? So he had like, they're not allowed to have DVD players or music or anything, but did you have those things? And how did you access them?
I think, speaking of this, someone also asked the question on what we did because we weren't allowed to have these things.
Yeah.
So just to really quick to answer your question, and we could go into more detail in a later video, but we there were so many of us. It was like having 6 friends or more in that age group, always doing things together, and so we were outside playing a lot. We played a lot. We would go to work at young ages as well, so that it didn't last too long. But we also lived in a place that was surrounded by mountains, and the mountains were our backyards. So we would build rock forts, and you name it. The mountain was our backyard. We were always outside playing, eating dirt, whatever. Sorry, what was your question?
My question was,
What happens when I got caught with a DVD?
yeah,
Okay.
like with the DVD, did you ever get caught with like a DVD player or a CD player?
I never got caught with a DVD player, but I did get caught listening to what they call Gentile music, which was any music that was not made by the church. And so anyway, I did get caught a couple times, and one of the times I got caught, it was listening to Tim McGraw, and bad stuff, right? It was kind of funny though, because it was my brother's CD. He had bought this CD, and my mother caught me listening to it. I thought I was being pretty sneaky in my bedroom, laying on the bed with the volume turned up to max +6, and obviously didn't hear her walk in or anything. And next thing I know, she's pulling the plugs off of one of the ear plugs out of my ear and asking what I'm listening to, and she could obviously hear it because it's so loud. But
Yeah.
anyway, so she's like, "What are you listening to?" And I told her, "Oh, it's Tim McGraw." She's like, "Do you have any idea what kind of garbage is in this stuff?" and anyway, she wanted me to just throw it away, but I said, "Oh, I can't throw it away because it's my brother's." No, I didn't say my brother's. I said it's not mine; it's someone else's. And she said, "Well, give it to whoever that is and tell them to throw it away." Anyway, so then I kept it. But anyway. So that was one of the times I got caught doing that. But a DVD player, I did have a portable DVD player under my pillow, which I would hide sometimes and watch DVDs, with a blanket over my head and being all sneaky, because we weren't allowed to watch DVDs without the permission of or movies. We weren't allowed to watch any movie unless Father was present.
Yeah.
So
I just love that the Gentile music was like Tim McGraw, that's what they were super scared of. Because, most kids in their teenage years bust out some Eminem or some 50 Cent or something like that's like the rebellious,
yeah.
I'm going to go,
Listen to something a little
hardcore
bit
in my,
hard, yeah.
Hardcore in my high school years or something. But Tim
it was
McGraw,
it was a lot of country and Hillary Duff and Avril Lavigne, that kind of stuff.
Likes Hillary Duff a lot.
I do like Hillary Duff a lot. I wish I could meet her one day. She's like a celebrity a celebrity crush we all had as kids.
Yep.
But that's that.
Some of the rules. If you want to hear more stories, or if you have questions about other rules that you're wondering if they had out there, then please leave in the comments any questions that you have.
Mm-hmm. We love questions, so thank you for all of your questions, and
yes,
we'll answer them as fast as we can. So,
and if you want to keep hearing more stories of Sam being a rebel boy,
like and subscribe,
and we'll talk to y'all soon.
We'll talk to you soon.